One. All right. Hey, everybody. Arturo Johnson here. Welcome to another episode of the Rainmaker Podcast. And I'm super excited here. We got Brian Moncada here from adspend.com. And if you're a coach or consultant and you're looking to take your business from 0 to 100K per month using YouTube ads, then you want to grab a pen and a piece of paper. Brian, man, thank you so much for hopping on. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Arturo? Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, for sure. And so I don't want to waste any time. I want to cover a bunch of things today because I got a pen and a piece of paper too. I'm going to be taking some notes on my phone. So really quickly, let's just kind of start from the beginning, Brian. When did you realize you were different and you kind of felt that calling for you got the entrepreneurial bug?
Yeah, I feel like it was probably in college when I was at Arizona State University. I was a sophomore in college, and it was the summer going into my junior year. And I remember my roommate at the time, who I knew since high school, his brother actually was a sales manager for a door-to-door home security company where they were selling home security door to door. And it was he was making like $100,000 a year plus, I believe, like $150,000 a year. And at that time, obviously, that was a lot of money. I mean, to most people, it still is, I mean, including myself still, right? So it's like at that time, I was like, wow, if I could make $100,000 a year, like that would change everything. So because none of my family, that I knew of was making that kind of money. So it would be huge impact on me and my family. And so that was when I started learning about personal development, and I discovered the book, The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy, which was the book that he had us read before that summer. And during that summer, I just was listening to that audiobook every single day and reading it. And that really shifted my mindset towards the success and how success isn't anything mystical or magical. It's just doing a few different things every single day differently than most people. And so that was the summer where I went door to door selling home security. And I didn't make much money, but I was able to face fear, rejection, overcome my limiting beliefs of myself. And I was able to take a risk. And I learned a lot from that experience that allowed me to, get a glimpse of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, where if you don't knock that day, right, you don't knock on doors, you don't make any money.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool because I think that a lot of people, there's always like this thing where it's the beginning where they start. So how was that first round in entrepreneurship? Did you have success? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you just need to make money? Like, where were you at that point?
Well, yeah, so I was a kid in college, right? I was just trying to make money. And I ended up basically breaking even that summer, where I left and I came back and I had the same amount of money when I left in my bank account. So I didn't lose money, but I broke even, right? So it wasn't a loss, but it was a learning lesson, let's say. And then fast forward to after college, I take a full-time job working for Pepsi. And 2 weeks into the job, I quit because the first day on the job with the orientation, I just saw all my coworkers at that point, and they were all 40s, 50s, and they didn't have any life to them anymore, in my personal opinion. They seemed like they gave up on their dreams and their goals. And I just knew if I continued working at that job, I would just do the same thing. So 2 weeks into that job, I quit. And then I took a cold call sales job because I was listening to Grant Cardone at the time. And he was saying, you got to get in a vehicle with sales so you can earn commission and you can write your own paycheck. And then I took half the pay to go work for a startup company and do cold call sales, where I was dialing 125 times a day and selling over the phone. And that's what allowed me to really just get good at sales. And then I, funny enough, went back to door-to-door sales doing solar. And then that's how I discovered that, okay, I don't want to be a door-to-door sales rep the rest of my life. I want to build a marketing business. I want to go learn from someone who's building a marketing company. And that's when I went to go work for Dean Greco full time. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's great. So out of college, just trying to make some money. You go work for Pepsi, right?
Pepsi, yeah, for 2 weeks.
Yeah, go work for Pepsi, and you're like, okay, I'm not cut out for this. So at that point, you realize that you're, not an employee, right? And so you're like, okay, I need to go somewhere and be in another vehicle where I can make money. You're seeing this guy at that time. I mean, Grant has 10x. He wasn't, billionaire at this point, right? It's crazy. Got on, and he figured it out early, right? He was like one of the first people that was really taking advantage of social media and attention at that time. And he was right. He bet on it. And of course, that's why he's having so much success. So you took a sales job,
Yep.
and so then that led you into solar. So then that led you into digital marketing. So who taught you, or who was your first mentor in that led you to having some success in the digital marketing space?
Dean Graziosi, yeah. So I went to go work for Dean, and I didn't know anything about direct response marketing. I had a YouTube channel at that time that I just did my own. I created my own content, my own branding. I knew social media well enough that I was doing it on my own, but I didn't have the marketing or marketing skills to sell anything. And I just didn't really know what I was doing. And so I was like, why don't I go work for someone who actually has a business that I kind of want? And at that time, I remember reading the book Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi, and
Mm,
that book changed my life because I read the 7 levels deep exercise in there, and I used it on myself, and I discovered my true purpose, which was to be the leader I felt like that I never had growing up, and that was where that shifted everything for me. And I said, I'm going to go work for him. Ended up creating that opportunity, and I worked for him for almost 3 years, and I learned direct response marketing, advertising, funnels, copy, sales letters, selling on camera, right? Emails, like email marketing, everything pretty much that I know now that we use for our clients as well was learned working at a job while working for Dean.
yeah, for sure, man. And I think that the I'm excited, and this is one of the reasons why I think I had you on, because being in this coaching space, I feel like the claims are getting bigger and bigger, and it's getting so far away from the core principles of mastery, right? And a lot of times, these coaches and influencers, they don't really have true mastery. In fact, if some of them have never run their own ads, they don't even know how to do it, and they're kind of giving you the arbitrage way, right? And so
Mm.
I'm just curious, from your perspective, what were some of the key things that you learned just from observing Dean Gracioso in his process, like the things that you can't really see from people seeing him? Because I think he started with infomercials, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So for seeing him transition from that to the digital space, what were some key things that you learned from that time working with Dean?
Yeah, what's funny is back when I was working full time for him, I didn't know much about anything, so it was hard for me to really look at him at that time and notice what he was doing as like unique, because everything was new to me.
Right.
Everything was something that I had to learn. So I didn't know anything about marketing at that time, really. And so everything I learned was new and fresh. Looking back though, what I did learn very strategically from Dean was that marketing is the oxygen of your business, right?
Mm,
Without marketing, there is no sales. And so Dean's full focus for everything that he did was marketing, because the more impressions, the more eyeballs, the more people you could get into your funnel, obviously the more sales you can make. And without marketing, there is no sales team, there is no salespeople, there is no sales, right? So marketing is what fuels everything, and which is why he put marketing as the full focus for the company, and why he paid our marketing team very well, including myself, because we were able to generate leads from cold traffic platforms, for his business. However, to your point, when I came on, he was just running Facebook ads. And I actually got hired originally to learn Facebook ads,
mm,
but we already had somebody who was doing that. And so he said, well, YouTube ads is something that I hear a lot of my friends talking about. Why don't you learn YouTube ads? And you can obviously run YouTube ads for the company. And I went all in and started learning YouTube ads. But for Dean, you know, he's just such a master at selling direct to camera because
mhm,
he's done it from the infomercial days, right? He's
mhm.
been selling on the TV set when you didn't have any call to action. It was just call this number and order over the phone. And you had to get somebody who's walking across their television set to get them to stop and pick up the phone and, order a book, right?
Right.
So to be able to go from that to where we are now today, it was easy because he already had that experience, and he just needed a young hungry kid like myself and like Ryan, who was running Facebook ads, to push the buttons and get him the technical side of things done so he could put the ads onto the platform like YouTube. And that was how everything started for me.
Dope, man. Yeah. So start working for Dean, paying you guys well. He's good on camera, so obviously that's what makes sense for YouTube. But you said he was running Facebook. So how did you learn YouTube ads?
Yeah. So when I first started, by the way, I wasn't getting paid much. I was just, I was a kid who was hungry. I wanted to learn, and I was willing to take a pay cut to be able to do it. And because I knew I was working to learn, right?
Right.
So it came to a point where I believe it was one of his friends, Brendan Bouchard. He was doing some YouTube ads with a guy named Tom Breeze. And so I went online I literally typed in how to run YouTube ads on Google and YouTube, and I tried to find anything I could at that time, and there was really nothing. But I ended up having purchased a course by Russell Brunson and Tom Breeze. That was the only course on YouTube ads really that we could find at that time. I learned a little bit from that course, applied it, and I spent like $2,500. Or sorry, I spent like $5,000 in a month. I made like $2,500 back. So I didn't lose. I didn't make money. I didn't break even. I lost money, about half of it, but it wasn't a total fail, right? I made at least half of it back. And so after that little test, then Dean paid a consultant named Tommy Powers, who was widely known as the YouTube ads OG at that time, to come out and fly out to me and spend a whole day with me to train me up on YouTube ads. And so I spent a day with Tommy Powers. He taught me how to scale in a matter of 4 to 5 hours. Wow. I applied everything he taught me. And then we were able to go from spending maybe like, $5,000 a month to $5,000 a day within about 30 days.
Wow. So after that, you learn the skill, fly in and spend a weekend, a couple of days with somebody that teaches you hands-on. When did you transition to kind of going out on your own from Dean and starting your own thing? Was AdSpend the first business that you started?
No. So I've started a bunch of different things before, but AdSpend was the first business I started after I left Dean. So about a year and a half after that, I had built up a pretty solid network of friends, and people caught on that I was the one running the ads for Dean Graziosi. And I was starting to get offers of people that wanted me to run their ads who were also a similar business. And, I would work another hour or two a day on the side, and I would make, pretty good money. And it got to a point where I was making more on the side than I was at my current job with Dean. And ultimately, we also keep in mind, I never wanted to leave the job.
Right.
We just got to a point where, at the time when I got hired, it was 15 people in the company, 5 people on the marketing team, including Dean, and one of them was myself. And then we went to a 100-person team in a matter of a year and a half, or 2 years, with the scale we did, right? So there was also that I felt like I was eventually just kind of doing myself a disservice by staying in the company, because I knew I had the potential and I wanted to do my own thing always from the very beginning. And so it got to a point where I just said, I'm going to go all in and build adspend.com. At that time, it wasn't called adspend.com. I was just Brian. But I ended up quitting. I got more clients on the side. I got to about $30K a month. And then I had another revelation where I was like, do I want to just keep doing this by myself the rest of my life, making good money? Or do I want to build something that's going to last and be sustainable? And so that's when I started hiring and building a team. And I brought the domain adspend.com. And the rest is history, as we say. Yeah,
for sure. And so the way we kind of got connected was Sam Ovens has always been my mentor, and you started to partner with him. And we'll get to that in a second. But I'm curious on what has been the evolution of your business, like kind of where it started, first 6 months like, and then how do you become someone that joins a mastermind that ends up where Sam Ovens, right, the OG that's run it up to 36 million in a year is like, hey, you're the sharpest person that I know in my network on YouTube ads, and to come partner me. So take me back to the beginning of your entrepreneurship journey where you went out on your own. And you got adspend.com, and just tell me what that's been like to run it up to where you are right now.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So when I first started at adspend.com, it wasn't even adspend.com, like I mentioned. It was YouTube. I was calling myself the YouTube ad pros at the time. And it was funny because when I started doing work for clients on the side that weren't Dean, it was I quickly realized not everybody's Dean and not everybody has the marketing chops that Dean has, because when I would do the same things I learned that works for Dean and I applied it to these other people's businesses, these coaches, these consultants, these info product marketers, it wouldn't work. The sales weren't coming in, the ads weren't good enough, or the funnel wasn't converting. And I was like, why isn't this working? And the client would also be asking me, why isn't this working? And I realized looking back, I was very ignorant at that time, because not everybody has, like I said, the marketing chops and the skill and the expertise that Dean had. And when I would do the same things that were working, it just wouldn't work, because the offer wasn't the right offer, the marketing wasn't the right messaging, all these different things. And so throughout client work, I learned that it takes a lot more than just running ads to to profitability for a company. It takes a lot more than the media buying, the button pushing. And so I quickly became a high paid marketing consultant, because I wouldn't just run YouTube ads. I would also consult with them on the offer. I'd also consult with them on the marketing. I would consult with them on the sales process. I would consult with them on the actual, the messaging of their avatar, and how to fulfill on their product, and how to scale their business, and who to hire. And that was something that I had to replicate. And so, my service went from YouTube ads and media buying to, okay, well, now we have to solve the problem of writing the scripts for these clients, because they're not good at writing their own scripts. And so I had to write the scripts for them. And then I had to coach them on actually how to film the ad, because they're not as good as Dean. So how can I take what I learned from Dean and put it into a replicative process that I can get on a call with a client and say, we're going to read the script together. You're going to act it out like this. You're going to film it like this. You're going to use this equipment, and you're going to do it this day. So I take all that guesswork out of that process for them. And then we became, not a media buying company. We became a creative production agency on top of the actual media buying. And then eventually I had to hire video editors, because they didn't have video editors. Right. I trained these video editors to create the ads. And so our service evolved from media buying to creative production, video editing, media buying, obviously, and then consulting as on the sales process as well. And then obviously building a team around that specific service is where we're at today, to where we have, so that. And then what happened was, I just, word got around that I was working with guys like Dean and other, and then, I kind of lagged out there for a second. And then people started hearing that I was doing all this work. And so we just started getting really good results for clients like Frank Kern, Roland Frazier, digital marketer,
Wow.
And then I eventually joined Sam's mastermind, and he saw the domain adspend.com. He thought that was very interesting. He checked out my resume. And when it came to the YouTube ad stuff, he never ran YouTube ads. So he's like, well, he's the YouTube ads guy. Why don't I just help, have him speak on it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. And so that's a good segue into Sam Ovens, because I've been in quantum since December of, I think it was 2019. And shout out to Sam Ovens, because he tremendously changed my life. I was waiting tables, and I had just waiting tables at night and doing life insurance during the day. And there was Mitch Gonzalez and Alberto Real were two people who were helping the financial service professionals. And I can remember watching their testimonials every single night when I got home. And I watched it for probably like 2 weeks straight, because I was trying to convince myself, like, man, there's got to be a way to use online marketing. And I watched that webinar. Back then it was like 3 hours long, and it was super crazy. And so with working with Sam, I asked my mom to borrow $900 from her, and I invested in the Consultant Accelerator at that time. And it was a huge leap of faith to me, because that was the first time I had ever spent that much money. That was the first time I had invested in myself, something over just a couple books or something like that. So, and man, was that the best investment, right? He showed me how to do digital marketing, right? And then how to productize my service. And so, me going from that progression from zero to, $1 million in 18 months, I couldn't believe that, being a first generation millionaire, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I owe, Sam Ovens a lot of credit for the success that I've had. And the reason why I'm saying that is just because he was a person that took pride in the work that he did, right? And he wanted to solve his customers' problems. And I'm sure that's probably what attracted you to him, is because you were doing that same thing. It wasn't just the media buying. He was like, I got to teach them how to do the scripts and how to be on camera and how to show up, because they weren't Dean, they weren't Frank Kern, they didn't have that charisma on camera. And so what really attracted you to quantum, and why did you join?
Yeah, great question. So at the beginning of last year, actually, in 2021, we hit 7 figures in revenue. And then in 2022, we had so many people that wanted to work with us, but they weren't at the level that we were wanting to take them on as a client for the agency. So they were, we have a qualification of, you have to be doing at least $100,000 a month to work with us as an agency for us to really scale your business. And so there was 70% of our applications that would come through on a daily, weekly basis, monthly basis would be people that were doing coaches, consultants, info product marketers that were doing, $20,000 to $50,000 a month. And so they still wanted to run ads and they wanted to learn and give our help. And so we introduced a coaching offer at that time. And the only person that I knew that was the best at doing that was Sam Ovens, because he's done it. Everybody that I knew learned from Sam, and I had been following him for a long time as well from his YouTube content. And so I ended up seeing Sam Ovens' I'm Back video on YouTube. And then he was talking about how he's going to be teaching YouTube ads, or how YouTube ads is the new thing. And I was like, what does he know that I don't know about YouTube ads? And so maybe there's something that I can learn. And that's what prompted me to book a call, because I was like, worst case, I learned 1, 2, maybe 3 things when it comes to YouTube ads that we can apply for our clients. Plus, I can actually get his feedback on how we can, package up our coaching and sell that as well on top of the agency, and really help this other side of the market. So that's what really led me to book a call and apply to join Quantum, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I did notice something that I'm curious to get your input on this. So one, you must believe in the power of masterminds, because as I was doing some research on you, I saw that, what is it, like over 10, 14 days, you went to like 3 different mastermind events in that journey.
Yeah.
So, I'm just curious on, your philosophy on the power of masterminds, because obviously if you're traveling to those things and spending weekends, days, staying in hotels and all these things, it must be worth it for you. So I'm just curious on why you would even do something like that.
Yeah. So when I was working for Dean full time, right, he told, one of the first things I remember that stuck with me was, I owe all of my success to masterminds. And at that time, he was a part of a mastermind called Genius X with a guy named Joe Polish, and and a bunch of other different masterminds as well, like Strategic Coach with Dan Sullivan. And he just kept saying, I owe all of my success to masterminds, being in the right room with these other individuals, all aligned towards a similar goal and sharing what's working. And so, I ended up joining my first mastermind when I was working for Dean full time, because I was like, if I want to make more money, I got to improve my skill set so I can be able to become more valuable to my job with Dean, so I can make more money. And I did that, and I did become more valuable. And then I said, okay, well, if I want to do the same thing with my business, I just got to do the same thing again. And I got to get in a room with the right people who know things that I don't know, who have businesses that are similar to me and who are making more money than me, so I can be in the same environment and be forced to level up. Otherwise, I'll just stay stagnant. And so I've invested so much money into masterminds because, number one, I've never found a better way to get around a like-minded group of people who are all focused on scaling and helping their clients. That's what masterminds is to me, right? And number two, you also create a bunch of memories with those people that you can have for the rest of your life, plus connections and networking and relationships that now I have, someone like yourself who, as a friend, I can come to you if I ever need anything. You can come to me if you ever need anything. And there's so many people that you can meet and network with in these masterminds. Plus, on top of that, you get to learn how to scale your business from everybody else in the room, or from someone like Sam.
Yeah.
And so I owe a lot of my growth to masterminds, because here's the funny part, right? In 2021, we did 7 figures, but we also invested over $156,000 into courses, coaching, and masterminds. So there's a 10x return there in the amount of investment we did. So it is worth it to travel and do all those things, because I get to make memories and I get an excuse to travel. I get to meet other cool people that are doing really cool things. And I also get to obviously create content and share that with everybody else as well online.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about, because I think a lot of times when people join programs or they join masterminds, they're looking to learn just from the guru per se. And they're kind of missing the boat, which is a lot of times it's the people in the room that you're going to learn the most from, and those connections. Because those relationships, right, of different people, different ideas, different partnerships, they're going to come from the people in those rooms. And it's going to be not just the event or the speaking portion of the mastermind, right? It's going to be those breakout sessions, the dinners, the late night drinks after the fact. Relationships are going to be built. And so I'm always talking about, you're the sum of the closest 5 people that you're around. But nowadays with masterminds, with the click of a button, right, and one good decision and a little bit of an investment on your side, you can transcend the 5 people that you're already hanging around to somebody that's a seven-figure earner, somebody that has run a business up to 36 million, and you can be in that same room. So why wouldn't you actively try to pursue that?
Yeah, 100%. You said it spot on, man. That's why masterminds, in my opinion, are one of the best investments you can make when you get to a certain level in business, because you just need to be able to be in the right room with the right people who can show you what's working for them, so you can take what's working for them and apply it to your business. And so you can obviously build a network of friends who can support you along your journey, which is the most important thing, because it's not fun to just do it on your own, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of my good answer is going to be a guy that's going to be on, who's actually in quantum as well, an investor in school, that's going to be on next week or so, in Cole Gordon. But I'm curious now that Sam Ovens, and it broke my heart when I saw that message, is going to be closing down quantum, where the
Yeah.
future of the space for the people that are like us, that nerd out about the product and spend our weekend not talking about sales and marketing, about high performance and getting sleep and aura rings and all those things. Where that group of nerds, where we're gonna go, and who's gonna kind of fill that void now that that mastermind of 100 to 150 high performing entrepreneurs are gonna go.
Yeah, well, it seems like right now Sam's recommending Cole, which I'm a part of Cole's mastermind as well, and I really do think it's a great mastermind. But it will be interesting, right? Because yeah, like you said, we're losing another industry leader from the rise of this industry that has changed
Yes.
our life, and so it is going to be interesting who takes over that spot. But I do feel like it creates an opportunity for all of us, because now it gives us the opportunity to create our masterminds and be able to develop our community and really ensure that our product is doing so well that people look up to us as the next, obviously Sam Ovens for them, whichever that is for us. So I think it's really cool, because it also makes sense now, because now that he's going to be focusing on school full time, it'll make that product better, which will
Mm,
make our communities better as a result
yeah.
for the consumers.
Yeah, 100%. And if anybody can figure out something and the product is smart enough, definitely is Sam Ovens. Just from being around him for the last 4 years, and being in his masterminds, and I personally have spent over $120,000 just in his programs and coaching alone, and probably spent over 200,000 myself in the last 12 to 24 months. But I want to kind of transition back into something, because you have done a lot of research and helped a lot of people grow their businesses with YouTube. Why is YouTube so special? What's so important about YouTube that most people may not know? That if they're a coach or consultant and they're using Facebook ads, which is great, or they're using organic, right? Why is YouTube maybe something they should probably check out?
Yeah, so there's a few reasons, right? Let's just go down the list. Number one, YouTube is the new television. Okay, everybody that I know doesn't watch TV; they
Nope,
watch YouTube,
that's
right?
it.
They're on their phone, they're on their TV, pulling up the YouTube app on their TV, and they're watching YouTube videos. And more than anything, right? Number two, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. People don't go to YouTube, like people don't go to Facebook to research recipes and cooking recipes and videos and tutorials or how to change their tire. They go to Google or YouTube and they watch YouTube videos to be able to learn how to do that certain thing. So it's an educational platform, plus it's an entertainment platform, and it's combined both of those. So people are watching television, which is YouTube now. YouTube
Right.
is the new TV. YouTube's also the second search engine in the world, which means people on YouTube are looking for answers to specific problems, which means they're
Mm,
more qualified. So when you show an ad to somebody on YouTube compared to Facebook, the quality of the lead is way better, and the actual client you get is way better as well in terms of quality, from our experience and from what our clients have told us many, many times, compared to what they're doing on Facebook. Now, those two things, plus the simple fact that if you're not on video nowadays, you're going to get simply left behind, right?
mm,
Video is the quickest way to build trust, and credibility for your ideal audience. And so there's also this effect that happens when you run YouTube ads, where you become a celebrity in your marketplace, because they constantly see impressions of you over and over and over and over and over again. And when you combine all three of those, right, you create a sustainable, stable, and scalable platform for your business, because the average YouTube ad lasts about 6 months before it
mm,
ever fatigues.
yeah.
So unlike Facebook, unlike TikTok, where you have to constantly be refreshing the creatives, if you have a YouTube ad that's converting, it'll last a minimum of 6 months. So we had a client, I should say, the Tap Brothers, where one of their best ads was running for 2 years, 6 months, and 14 days. And it's probably still running to this day. We're just simply no longer working with them. So I say all that to say that if you really want to scale and have a breath of fresh air with ads, YouTube ads is the best place to do so for those reasons.
Yeah, 100%. And so, in saying that, I guess for somebody that's kind of doesn't like to be on camera, and I know you covered this in the mastermind because I was watching it, and I was looking forward to September to connecting with you in person, because that was the one I was going to go to, because I literally just had a baby over the weekend, so I had to listen.
Congratulations, man! That's awesome.
Thank you on that last one. But just at a very high level, what are like the 4 or 5 phases of a YouTube ad that most people don't know to create a high performing ad?
Yeah. So the structure of a YouTube ad is first, we got to get specific with who we're actually talking to. I think a big problem that most people make is they're trying to talk to everybody at the same time and they end up talking to nobody, right? You have to talk to one specific type of person. And a lot of mistake that most people make when they try to go to YouTube is they try to attack, because everybody in their business, right, watching this video right now, you have probably 2 to 3 different types of client avatars that you can help. But yes, one of the worst things you can do from the very beginning is go after all 3 of those in the same ad. So what we do first is we make sure we isolate the highest quality client that you want to go after first, and we start with the ad scripts for them and them only. And so once you identify that one person you want first, next is the actual script and the structure. So the script structure is very simple, right? I learned this from Dean Greco, who sold hundreds of millions of dollars online during the infomercial days like we talked about. And it's the same that applies for YouTube ads. You have the hook, right? You have the story, and you have the close. The first thing your YouTube ad needs to do is you need to hook the ideal client that we just talked about in within the first 5 to 10 seconds by asking a question, calling out your ideal audience, and making a big, bold promise or claim. So for example, if I was doing it right, high ticket coaches and course creators who are tired of running Facebook ads, stop spending money on Facebook and instead put your money over to YouTube. If you're someone who's tired of getting screwed by Facebook, then here's the reality, okay? You can keep beating your head against the wall by trying to beat the Facebook ads algorithm or Mark Zuckerberg, but it's like, and that may or may not work. Or you can shift some of that budget over to YouTube and have a more stable, scalable, and sustainable traffic source, just like this person over here, right? So like, that's a quick excerpt that I just did off the top of my head, but I'm very specific with who I'm talking about. I'm sharing their pain points within the first few seconds. And I'm also giving them the offer, which is you need to do this instead of what you're doing. And so that's the hook, right? Call out your ideal audience, ask a big question or ask a question and make a big promise or claim. And then the story. You go into the credibility, the social proof, the authority. By the way, my name is Brian Moncada. I'm the founder of adspend.com. We've spent well over $50 million on YouTube ads in the last 3 years. We've worked with industry leaders like Frank Kern, Jordan Belfort, Bedros Keuilian, Cole Gordon, Sam Ovens, and the list goes on. But the reason why I'm here right now is because a lot of problems that I see with business owners are, point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. So establish credibility.
Time out, because you're giving so much value. If you're on Instagram and you're watching this, give a thumbs up in the chat if you're getting some extreme value from this. Brian, this has been absolutely amazing, man. You are definitely dropping some gems. I just wanted to just say that real quick. But yeah, go ahead and finish, man.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Thank you. And so you have the story, right, which is the social proof, the credibility, the why they should listen to you, like who are you, what have you done? Share that really quickly, and then go into the story, right? What are you trying to educate them on? So again, YouTube. People go to YouTube to learn something or to be entertained, right? So you want to educate them while also be entertaining. And entertaining doesn't mean anything. It just means you want to educate them enough to continue watching, which is essentially entertainment, right?
Kind of thing, right?
Exactly. And so the way I would do it in this example would be like, look, one of the biggest problems that most people are making is they keep spending money on Facebook when they should instead shift to what the new platform is that's getting coaches and consultants more money, which is YouTube ads. And then I educate them. YouTube ads are more stable because an average ad lasts up to 6 months, so you don't have to keep refreshing the creative over and over again. Then I go to point 2, right? YouTube is also the new television. I don't know about you, but let me ask you, when's the last time you watched TV? You probably haven't watched it in a while, but you've probably watched YouTube. And then thirdly, when you go to YouTube, you go to learn or to be entertained. Just like your clients are watching YouTube videos right now, searching for specific problems that they want you to solve for them, but you're nowhere to be found on YouTube. So your competition's eating all your lunch. Anyways, that's the story, right? So social proof, credibility, authority, point one, point two, point three, basically sharing the what, not the how. Tell them what they need to do. Don't tell them how to do it. That's where the call to action comes in next, or what I say, the close from Dean Graziosi, right? You close them on taking the next step. So if that sounds interesting to you, I put together a free training. You can click the link on or around this video where I show you exactly how to diversify your budget away from Facebook over to YouTube so you can start scaling, generating more leads, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Click the link. I'll see you on the other side. Cheers. Very simple.
You've done that a few times, huh?
It's just a habit at this point, man.
Yeah. And so so in doing that, because if you guys are getting value, you definitely want to rewind this and write that script down. And just to kind of clarify that, how much revenue or cash, let's talk about cash collected, has that been able to generate that script there for your clients?
Yeah, so that 7-figure YouTube ad script, right? So, man, who knows? For example, we had one client that was doing $300,000 a month only on Facebook, but they couldn't scale, just like I'm talking about in this ad right here. And just off one of the ads in that script that we help write for them when they're a client of ours, or they can write on their own with our script template, they were able to scale from one of those ads to $500,000 a month. So imagine over 12 months what that can do for your business to add an extra $200,000, right? So, that's just one case study, but we have plenty of those at our agency as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad you shared that, because it's like this, if you can get like this one ad that could run for 6 months, you do it once and it could make you up to $500K per month, right? That's kind of a no-brainer. And so as we kind of wrap up here, where can people find out a little bit more information about Brian Moncada, adspend.com? What's your Instagram and then your website as we bring this conversation to a conclusion?
Yeah, so if you guys want to connect with me, the best place to do that is on Twitter and YouTube. So on YouTube, you can just type my name, Brian Moncada. You'll find my YouTube channel. I have a ton of content on there that's valuable for anybody who wants to learn how to create and run profitable YouTube ads, especially in the online education industry, whether you're an agency owner who wants to do it for your clients, or you're a coach or consultant who wants to scale ads for your business. My YouTube channel, I share a ton of things that I'm learning at our agency and with our clients. Plus, like we're saying with the masterminds that I'm a part of, I share everything I learned from those on YouTube as well. And then the other place would be Twitter. You can find me at the Brian Moncada on Twitter. Twitter's super underrated. I would encourage you all of you to be there as well. And then if you want to apply to work with us or join our mastermind, that's adspend.com, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, Brian, it's definitely been tremendous value, and you really dropped some gems today. I mean, I got notes. I can't wait to go back and watch this. It's definitely been a pleasure spending this time with you, man. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
No problem. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Rainmaker Podcast. And for sure, you definitely want to like, subscribe, and even share this video. This is going to be very, very valuable. So if you're a coach or consultant and you're looking to take your business from 0 to 100K per month and beyond, reach out to Brian Moncada at adspend.com, and we'll see you in the next Rainmaker Podcast.